Good evening, roommates. Welcome to the Fireside Chat on 86.5 The
The
Vibe.
Vibe.
The Vibe. This is your boy Jackie C.
And Shade.
And we just wanted to welcome you back. Have a seat by the fire. Hopefully you all been drinking your water today. If not, you can grab a bottle. Shade, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Not as good as yesterday, but I'm probably on about 5, 6 right now.
That's good out of 8. I was going to say figure a gallon. I was going to say I've got to just finish this. It's my last fourth, quote unquote. So about halfway through. But yeah, hopefully you all have been drinking your water and doing some stretching. But I also want to talk to you guys about, I think you all should start planking.
Oh, planks are great.
I've started planking 5 times a day for 1
Oh,
minute.
wow.
I was inspired by one of my
okay.
coworkers. I was really inspired by his diligence, his commitment to his health in the long term. I'm mad that I work with people who are in their 40s that are in better shape than me, and it leaves me frustrated. So that's another thing I started doing. I was like, oh, if he could do it, so can I. And yeah, I would say I feel great, and I think I even look better after the course of just 1 week.
You do. You look like you kind of trimmed down a little bit.
Thank you. I was going to say it's just 1 week. And here's the crazy part. I can't run right now because my left calf is like bugging out. I don't want to strain myself.
Right.
I've taken some time off from that. But no, I was looking it up. So it's an excellent core exercise, but it also, improves your coordination, your balance. But it also improves your posture and alleviates back pain.
How interesting. I could see that too. Certainly when I do my planks, I generally feel better than when I don't do my planks. Just kind of I don't know. I would say stability-wise, for sure.
Yeah, I would say daily planking, guys. If you don't have to do 5 times for a minute or anything like crazy. Just maybe you do 30 seconds or so, 5 times throughout the day. I don't know. It's all about what you're comfortable with, but I would definitely get into planking if I were you all, because it even improves your metabolism.
Is that so?
Yeah, like I said, I had looked it up. I just Googled it, and how Google gives you those top answers. They gave me those, and I was like, all right. I was like, that's really cool, because I was like, I'm feeling great. Like I was telling him, I was like, you got me into a bad habit, because now I feel like I do more than 5 times. Like I did 6 or 7 today.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah,
Be
I was
careful.
gonna say,
You don't want to tear yourself up.
No, not at all. But I mean, that'll be the next thing. I can't plank right now because my abs are about to tear.
Yeah.
Good grief! No, I'm trying to rip them out. So I was gonna say, this is the time to start getting in shape for when quarantine lifts in March.
Big time.
I was gonna say, we're all going to the beach, chilling. You're gonna be thankful for those planks. You're gonna
summer
be thankful
2021 is gonna be a good one.
Summer 2021. That's gonna be the summer of love. I'm calling it now. That's gonna be the summer of love. Speaking about love, shout out to our friend Aaron Levinson. He's getting married down in Texas.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I was telling him. I was like, I remember
Levinson.
back in the day, when we used to play with sticks, and I remember him and I fighting on we fought on the basketball court that one time.
Yep.
I was like, that was funny. I taught him how to lean with it, rock with it. Yeah, shout out to them franchise boys. That was way, way back something. But no, I hear you've got a 2-sentence horror for us today. It's a shady episode today.
That's
some shady horror.
So it's more of a whole story.
A whole story.
Kind of a guide, if you will. So
okay.
This here comes from ifunny.com. It's going to be a guide to exploring abandoned churches.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So here it goes. So if you go alone, don't bring a flashlight. You'll see things that you don't want to see. Don't bring groups larger than 12. Bring water and some snacks, but no wine. If you have to sleep there, sleep in the sanctuary, but not on a pew. If you try to read the hymnal, the words won't be in English anymore. The Bibles will be blank until you confess. But don't go to the confessional. The man talking to you is not the priest, and you do not want to know what he really is.
Goodness.
The cross on the wall changes places. Do not look at it for too long. If you see someone praying at the altar, don't approach them. If they approach you, don't talk to them. Leave immediately. If you hear the organ playing while you're in the basement, know that your time is running up. If it plays while you're in the sanctuary, your time is up. Take whatever you want, but if you find one of your possessions missing, don't look for it. Let them have it. It's not worth your life. If you find a rosary, don't put it on. It's not going to help. The water isn't holy anymore, and throwing it on the demons and the shadows will not work. Drink the wine if you wish to never leave this place, and do not get separated from your friends. If you spend the night, leave at sunrise, otherwise you'll never leave. If you don't spend the night, leave through the doors that you came through. You may look behind you after leaving and see that the church isn't there anymore. It means they took what they wanted. And never enter the same abandoned church twice, especially if you forget something inside. It's just a lure. On your second tour through, they will know enough about you to keep you there forever.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. I always thought I was more scared of abandoned asylums or
Oh yeah,
hospitals.
those are awful
But
too.
that definitely put churches on the list. That was something. That was such a great read. You might have to start doing all the 2-sentence horror. I think I'll vote for that. Let's see. So the news item of the day is they're going to have 2 separate debates. Although I guess you couldn't call them debates. They're going to be town halls.
What do you mean?
Well, Trump pulled out of the debate, right? And so
Yeah.
they said it was going to be a town hall. You don't want to debate, you don't have to debate. It's going to be a town hall. Biden will take questions from the viewers. And Trump goes, well, I'm going to have a town hall too then. At the same time.
No, he did not.
He did. And this is one of the moments where I question his judgment. I think most Americans are going to tune into the Biden one. They're going to say, I want to hear what my next president has to say.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like Biden is killing him in the polls. And it's better than the polls Barack had. It's better than the polls Hillary had.
Is that so?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
In 2008 and in 2016, it's so bad. Tom Tillis went out there. He's from North Carolina, and he said, y'all need to reelect me as a check on a Biden presidency. Don't worry about enabling Trump anymore, because that's not what this is about. It's not about me enabling Trump, which is what they're trying to make it about. It's about not enabling Biden.
Wow. Till hell is over here.
Tom to hell, like to hell with Tom Hellis. Like, no. Tom, it's actually pronounced Thumb, I think, like Thom.
Oh, is it?
Spelled, yeah, Thom Tillis, but
Tom Tellis.
Thumb, yeah, it's
Interesting.
definitely an interesting name, but no, it'll be interesting. I think he's definitely on his way out. They say Susan Collins is on her way out from Maine. I was like, I mean, they said they were going to be moderates, and then they signed off on just about everything Trump did. So,
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of my friends, good Republican guy, works with a lot of Republicans. He was saying she signed her death warrant. They both signed their death. I think he was just talking about her now that I think about it. But he said she signed her death warrant when she voted for Kavanaugh. I believe the same thing about Thom Tillis to some extent. I believe, there were a lot of moments where Americans looked to the moderate Republicans to be moderates, and they weren't. And yeah, I have questions about whether or not they'll be back. I really have questions about whether or not Lindsey Graham will be back, but that's neither here nor there. So, also in today's news, Biden says he is, quote unquote, not a fan of court packing. The question is, will he guarantee it? So, we actually had somebody, Shade, ask us what our thoughts are on court packing. I thought we had kind of discussed this before a little bit, but I'll let you go first and I'll go second.
Sure. No, absolutely. Well, court packing is basically the idea, of course, of adding as many Supreme Court justices as you can to kind of support your side. And clearly, that form of number stacking is not a form of justice. It's not fair. It doesn't make constitutional sense, in my personal opinion. Um, you, Jay?
Yeah, I think that the court has a job to protect the minority. And we've seen the court make poor decisions throughout history. We've also seen them live up to some pretty good ones, including this, conservative one. We've seen it save Obamacare a couple times. Uh, it's stuck by Roe v. Wade and upheld it uh, and been in favor of it in a lot of ways. It's even, upheld most, gun restrictions. I think back in the day, the number was in the high 80s on gun restrictions they had upheld. So they're even the ones gay marriage. Supreme Court is 5-4. Those mostly conservatives, and so while I do have some concerns about ACB, I would just tell the American people vote. And so someone asked my thoughts on they said, Republicans have been packing the courts for years. And I was like, but they've been doing it legitimately through the will of the American people. And we win one time and we go, we're going to pack the courts, we're going to have our way. All we got to do is keep winning. Win again in 2024. The demographics of the country are changing, right? Keep winning. One day, all 9 of them will be liberal. Like, I mean, but right now, like if you stack the court, so here's the thing. There's the argument if Democrats stack the court, Republicans will never get back in the majority because they'll be able to strike down all the voter ID laws and such, and they'll probably do some stuff with immigration and bring in a bunch of new liberal voters that tip the scales in all the swing states and even put traditional states like Georgia and Texas perhaps to the left. So there is that argument, but I don't know if I think it would be a bloodbath electorally. I think that in the long term, you might get those results. But I think in the short term, you will find that you get voted out in 2022 and in 2024, you probably won't get reelected with, being a lame duck technically after a Republican takeover in 2022 from stacking the courts. So I think stacking the courts is a very poor idea as far as, campaigning goes. So you've heard me speak very negatively about it in regards to Joe Biden and campaigning and Jamie Harrison and it's a very poor idea to be talking about. But in practice, it could work out for Democrats. It could. If that court is giving balanced decisions but I think you would have to wait until the conservative court gives a terrible decision. Like say they overturn Roe v. Wade and everybody in the country is in an uproar. Or they strike down Obamacare and suddenly millions of Americans don't have health care. I don't know if striking down Obamacare wouldn't be up there. Roe v. Wade would be the number one thing. If they touch Roe v. Wade, I would argue, yeah, liberals will probably do what they would have to or do what they must, and I would argue most of the American people would be like, yeah, all right, fine. We see what you were talking about, but you have to let the damage. The American people aren't a proactive people; they're a retroactive people. They love to react, they're not proactive. And so,
Yeah.
no, it's the truth. You'd
No,
have to have
that's a good
something.
point.
You'd have to have something terrible happen, and then they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, maybe we should do something different. Like, maybe things shouldn't be like this." And so, that's what I would say about court packing. But I would also argue that once one side does it, if the other side does it, it is ultimate power. And no side should have ultimate power.
Yeah. No, I think that
It-
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think so too. So that's what I would say about court packing. I would say if liberals want to pack the court, let's do it legitimately. Let's win races up and down the ballot because, winning those local elections is what does, the redistricting and whatnot. Governors and state legislatures right now, conservatives have a lead on that. They've had a lead for a while. I think they've had as many as 29 governorships at one point. And so you have to win ballots up and down. You need to be canvassing. You need to be spreading the message and talking about the real change that you want to see for the country and offering a picture of what you see tomorrow as. America, 2030, America 2035. Like where do we want to see ourselves? And both sides could definitely do a better job of that rather than bickering, I would say. But that's neither here nor there. That being said, our next marshmallow we're going to roast, and Shade, I hope you roast this one well, is because I really don't have too much to say. Virtual dating plus, how many red flags are too many?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I don't
So-
like it.
You don't like it. Why not?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is you have to decide what's a red flag and what's not a red flag. What's I don't like X versus X is a red flag.
Okay, no, that's fair.
You have to determine what's the difference between a stern. If this was soccer, you have to determine what's the difference between a stern talking to a yellow card and a red card. A red card is an automatic send off. One red flag is too many red flags. That's it for me. But I think then the question becomes, what is a red flag?
That's a very good point. So I
don't necessarily know the answer to that.
So I have to completely agree with you. One red flag is too many red flags. You should never encounter a red flag. So let's talk about yellow flags real quick. So a yellow flag, a yellow card, if you will, what would constitute one for you? For me, I would say anytime I see someone that is kind of abrasive, very almost aggressive, not necessarily violent or anything like that, but the way that they handle themselves seems a bit brusque, if you will. That, to me, is a yellow card.
Okay. So maybe a yellow card would be them texting while you're constantly on their phone while you're on a date.
Oh, okay.
Because it means that they're not really interested in you and they're liable to hurt you. I don't know. Like I said, I say red flags are too many, but I don't know what I would call a red flag versus a yellow flag. Can you give me an example of a red flag, honestly?
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
I feel like I have red flags that I would tell, like, girls and my daughters, but for the most part, I don't have, like, too many red flags, like, I would tell my sons, I don't know that I would be like, oh, if she does this, she's dangerous. She's gonna drug you and take out your kidney or something. I don't know.
Right. So, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, if someone is pushing you to constantly keep drinking, this is a red flag. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of fun people out
That's a
there
good
who
one.
just want to have a good time. And they're just like, no, come on, let's have one more. Let's have one more. Oh, my God. That's great. That's really fun. But like when they really are pushing, like, nah, come on, you gotta have one more drink. What are you? What are you, a witch? You know, spooky season. No, but
Spooky season.
but yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like when they're really pushing, like you need to keep drinking, and you're like, dog, I am falling over myself. I can't even really keep a straight face right now, and you want me to keep drinking? Absolutely, that is a red flag versus a yellow flag, which is the whole, oh no, let's have some fun, let's keep drinking. Like that's more of a yellow flag. But I hope that's making some sense. It's like severity.
Yeah, no, that's a good red flag. I don't worry about that as much as a guy. Like when I'm
For
out on
sure.
a date and a girl is like, "Oh yeah, let's drink, let's do this."
Well, I
Let's drink,
usually
drink,
assume
drink.
I'm probably going to drink more than they are. So, but
I'm a big bully. I'm in my old age. I'm not, I'm not who I once was in my old age. I'll say that much. So
I feel you there.
and so, what other red flags do you have any like rapid fires you could give? Like this is a red flag, that's a red flag, this is a red flag.
Oh, I'll do my best. So let's see. Um,
A rundown on red flags, if
yeah,
you
let's
will.
try it. Let's try it. So, constantly texting, just because you kind of like pulled that one up a moment ago. Not just the whole like constantly texting during the date, but I mean honestly, like if they can't pay attention to you, to me that is kind of a red flag because it's like, yeah, you're right, they're just gonna hurt you. But also if they're constantly texting you, like constantly, like you're like, hey, babe, I am at work. I
That's a
am
good one.
at work. I need to focus
Psycho.
on my job. Like, yes, exactly. They're psycho. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to anyone out there who that's you. You need to chill. And you know it. Like, for real. And
Oh gosh.
let's
And this is coming from a cancer, two cancers.
yeah.
You need to chill.
Let's see. Extreme emotional spikes. I'm sorry to say it,
Okay,
but
that's a
like
good
just like if you can't keep control of yourself, if some days you seem like you're totally fine and then other days you are in freaking like throwing fists mode, like there is a problem. Maybe you need to communicate more. It could just be that. Like you need to like let people know, hey, I'm going through a hard time right now. But if this is just your base, like sometimes you're just wild, yeah, that's a red flag. Like,
Yeah, that's a send off.
yep, straight up. Let's see. Completely disappearing without a moment's notice and then coming back as though nothing ever happened.
My
Red
goodness.
flag.
Zombieing as it's called.
Yes, exactly. That is a massive red flag.
That's a send off.
Yep, you already know it. Lots, kind of anything where you can go, I really don't know what their motive is right now at all, and they're kind of confusing me. It's like, that's probably indicative of it could be at least a yellow flag. If it's really severe, it's probably a red flag. And you know them when you see them, people. You know them when you see them.
Oh my, that was good. I feel foolish that I couldn't come up with any. But to be fair, I was thinking more about like safety.
That is
Like,
important.
I was thinking more like what
That
are
is
red
important.
flags like, oh, this person might be dangerous.
That is a very important point, and like being able to pick up on subtle cues like that is very difficult.
Well, I mean, to be fair, danger to your emotions, that's danger to your mental health.
And
That's,
and the people
a
who
danger
are
to you as well.
unfortunately very practiced at doing this know how to keep their tells very low. So even picking up on those red flags is much more difficult with said people, especially if you're dealing with, let's say, an actual sociopath, someone who means only harm to you, which is more uncommon, but does happen. Yeah, it's much harder to tell in those moments. And yeah, you should always look out for any strange behavior, anything that sounds a little bit off, a little bit funny, a little bit like unknown. Like I've always been very keen on you haven't told me the whole story here, and I don't really want to go anywhere with you until I know what's going on. And even with people that you like, quote unquote, have known a long time or trust, you need to get the full scoop before you do anything with them. It's very important. You never know when someone's just gonna flip.
Ain't that the truth? You never know with people these days. Speaking of not knowing, there's so much sports going on. I have not had a chance to watch anything on Netflix or Hulu or any of that. But I hear that you are going to carry us through a show recommendation again.
Gosh, it really is a shady episode, huh?
It's a shady episode. I was going to say, it's big
Well,
stuff.
Well, absolutely. I have been watching the Bly Manor TV show, the series from Netflix. So it's a horror series. Upon your recommendation, Jay.
Is it called The Bly Manor or Bly House?
I believe it's Bly Manor, but it might be Bly House. I could be getting it wrong.
It's Bly something.
Hopefully the producers will correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't seem to know. So in that case, Bly Place, that is either a house or a manor, is fantastic horror series. Like I went into it expecting like, oh my gosh, what is this PG-13 like beep, if you know what I mean. But honestly, even within like the first 15, 20 minutes, I was just like, okay, you know what? There's something going on here. What's this about? And like I was trying to do like work email at the time, and which was really important. but I'm like trying to do it, and I've got it playing on in the background, and all of a sudden I see like something out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh well, what was that? And I start watching, and then all of a sudden I realize I'm like 3-4 episodes deep. It's been like 3-4 hours. It's like 4 a.m. I've got work in the morning, and I'm like, oh man, what happened? Like I've been binging this show for the past 3-4 hours. Like it was crazy, but like it just sucks you in so deep with so much suspense, so many like little twists and nuances. It's very quirky, or even as one of our favorite characters might say, perfectly splendid. But no, it really is a good show. It has a lot of interesting twists, a lot of interesting kind of details that really make you question at the end of every single episode. Is this what's going on, or is there more? Every single time. They leave great cliffhangers, and honestly, Netflix has been doing a great job with the series.
Wow. Well, you know what's crazy, people, is this man texted me and said, I'm not even going to have to lie this time. I said, oh my God, it must be good. Like, it must be fantastic. You all should give it a watch, and I will give it a watch as well. Hopefully we can hear your thoughts when you're finished.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's what we love to hear. So you all know how we always end. That was our last marshmallow, our second to last marshmallow, our third to last marshmallow.
Our fourth to last marshmallow.
No, it's our third. Our closing is a marshmallow. We say some positivity. We leave y'all. We whisper in your ear.
Indeed.
The rundown. Speaking of baseball, the Dodgers crushed the Braves, like 15 or 16-3. Like killed them boys. They're behind 2-1 in the NLCS, but the Rays are looking to close out the Astros.
Oh, well, I was going to say, who I really want to hear about is them Stros.
Them Stros.
We better put that on directly after the podcast.
They're down 3-0. The game should be over in the next 5 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. Well,
but it looks like they're going to survive and make it 3-1. But who knows? The producers are telling me we just got breaking news. Game 4 of the NLCS tomorrow night. The boy Clayton Kershaw is pitching. Oh, wow. It's 4-3 in the top of the ninth.
For the Stros.
Oh wow! So they might survive. They might hold on. But Clayton Kershaw,
Clayton
Mister Kershaw is
Kershaw.
pitching. Like, Mister Kershaw.
That's right, that boy's coming back.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was in Major League Baseball, Kershaw was pitching to me. I don't think I'd even swing. I feel like I'd get struck out looking on 3 pitches. I walk back to the dugout. My skip would be in my face. He'd be like, "What was wrong with you, son? What were you looking at? What were you thinking about?" I'd be like, "It's Clayton Kershaw. Like, it's Clayton. Like, are you kidding me? It's King Kershaw. Like, my
He's
goodness,
the man.
a Texas flamethrower, if you will. Like,
Yes, sir.
that boy is about to lead his team back to the promised land, like, and lift the curse over the Dodgers. What a crazy thing. That being said, a Newsweek article: a Proud Boy supporter warns of civil war.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, terrifying news. Absolutely. Like, you can't say that. I mean, upon reading the article, I could see how maybe he was just saying, like, if this happens, civil war could happen, and it wouldn't be their fault. It would be, like, the fault of everybody else. But let's be fair. That's a direct threat on the country, and we all know it. That's terrible.
White supremacists are terrorists. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
Actually, I might say a little bit more than that. I don't think it's that scary. I think it's gonna be like a Marvel movie. I'm gonna go out, Shade. You're gonna be like Captain America. You're gonna be like the Falcon. I'm gonna be like Cap. We're gonna go out and we're gonna defend this country. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, let me stop. No, it's pretty scary.
It's terrifying.
But we got a little saying, it's "nuck if you buck." So it's like, no, let me stop. that's just ignorant. Nuck if you buck. Like, but Nancy Pelosi refuses Trump's stimulus deal. Wolf Blitzer asked her
Really?
why. She said, you don't know. You don't know what's going on, Wolf. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, she was going a little wild.
if
I'll
I
have
were
to say.
her, I would just take it and be like, hey, for everybody who didn't get anything, for everybody who knows this is wholly inadequate, if it's actually wholly inadequate, like they say, then the effects will be felt and it'll be on the Republicans. So, but I don't know. I think that maybe there's a chance it's a decent stimulus that'll affect the majority of Americans in a positive way, and then it'll be a win for Trump this close to the election. So I feel like maybe,
Yeah, that would be big.
maybe it's easier to just grandstand. Who knows? That being said, speaking of Trump, he always does stuff that makes me just convinced he doesn't want to be president anymore. Retweets QAnon.
He did.
Yup. For those of you who don't know, QAnon is, just look them up. It's spelled QANON. Or don't look them up because it's a bunch of wildness.
They're essentially
But
a conspiracy theory.
This is what they had
group.
to say, quote unquote. Biden and Obama may have had SEAL Team 6 killed.
What?
That's the retweet that he tweeted.
He did not.
He did. Now, granted, they said they may have.
Now, no, hold on. So did he retweet it and he was just like, look at this foolishness?
No, he retweeted it was like, all my supporters, so that you know this is the truth. Like,
No.
He didn't say anything with it. He just retweeted it. But like, you don't just retweet something and then leave it there and be like,
So
oh,
he's
but I
saying
disagreed.
that this is
Like,
true.
yeah, like it's a bunch of craziness. Says that the real
That's
Osama bin
wild.
Laden may still be alive. This is
What?
all may still be the case.
And he's in support of this?
The president is a wild man. I've come to the conclusion the president,
Now,
and it's sad because that was the real
in
moment.
the know about this stuff? Like, don't they like debrief the president and tell them what really happened?
Yeah,
So what he's doing is like wrong. Like
dangerous.
that's
perhaps.
spreading, as he would even say, fake news.
Yeah, no, I think the worst part for me is one to disparage their service,
Seriously.
to say that they didn't get the actual Osama bin Laden. But I think that the second takeaway that I have is he took a moment away from this country. Like, I was watching a baseball
Yeah.
game. I can't remember who I was watching, and they got the news that Osama bin Laden had been killed, and they started chanting USA. And it was Democrats, Republicans, black people, white people, straight people, gay people, men, women, and children.
Yeah.
A country that was once, for the most part, united.
Yeah.
But we're almost to the point where you can take united out of states.
Yeah. No
So,
joke.
with that being said, ACB says that the SCOTUS can't force the POTUS to obey. The rundown, ACB's confirmation hearings are still going on. I told you all that I wouldn't, comment on it too much until it was over. But, Shade, what do you think of that?
Well, quite frankly, I don't know what to think about it. I'm starting to believe that she has like a fairly firm understanding of justice, but sometimes I don't really know where she's coming from.
Yeah, I think she has a good understanding of justice. I think she has a far right. I don't want to say too much about her before I hear everything. She
Same.
she had some good moments and she had some bad moments. Like, she forgot what the 5 freedoms are in the First Amendment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, boy, that's something. People were saying, like, remember how she didn't take notes?
Yeah.
They were saying maybe you should have bought some notes. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I was like, that is something. But I I think I agree with her about the SCOTUS can't force the POTUS to obey. And I specifically, throughout our history, nobody has ever said, like, screw the Supreme Court, I'm doing this. So I wouldn't really know what would happen. But what I do know is it's always been the government officials to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the people don't listen, like, for example, I think of the Little Rock Nine. I think of school integrations, right? Remember Dwight Eisenhower, to enforce the Brown v. the Board of Education, sent the National Guard
That's
into
right.
several, into several places. And I think to myself, the Supreme Court made the ruling, but if Eisenhower would have shrugged his shoulders and said, meh, what would have happened?
I don't know.
So I think that to some extent, she's right. I don't know what power the Supreme Court does have. I don't really know what power any of these folks have if folks don't listen,
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, your authority comes from the consent of the governed. And so suddenly if folks just stop listening, then like if Trump is just like, yeah, I'm not listening, I'm doing this, and tells folks to do that, then they're either going to say they're going to do it or they're not. Same for the Supreme Court. Like, Supreme Court says this is wrong, you're either going to be like, okay, fine, or you're going to shrug your shoulders and carry on.
Yeah.
And speaking of shrugging their shoulders and carrying on, Le'Veon Bell, I shouldn't laugh because, it's somebody losing their job. But he's going to find a new one real soon. And I think Le'Veon Bell got cut from the Jets, and I think that man is singing freedom.
Yeah.
I think he's singing songs of freedom. Adam Gase and the New York Jets are abysmal.
Yeah.
I think he was committed to making the team work. So I think he's sad in that sense. Like, he was committed to helping to turn the program around because he was mad at when Jamal Adams left. But at the same time, I truly believe, like, to some extent, he knows, like, I probably wasn't going to get a Super Bowl and the Jets were going to waste my best years.
Yeah. Good point.
So the Jets are a dumpster fire, the worst of their kind. But yeah, Shade, if you could play us off.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you all noticed, but we didn't give you a quote of the day today. And that is because I wanted to leave you with a quote. And the quote is incredibly simple. Just don't worry about a thing, because everything is going to be all right.
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley said that. So I know there's a lot of anxiety about the coronavirus, about the election, about a lot of things, but everything you've been worried about in your past, you know, you were worried about that test, you're worried about asking so-and-so to prom, or whether so-and-so is going to ask you, you're worried about, you know, your SATs, or whatever you might have been worried about, it always found a way to work itself out. You're worried about your job. I saw somebody today, they were like, I was unemployed these last 5 months and now I found a job. They knew they were going to find one. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is going to be alright. And with that being said, roommates, it's 86.5 The Vibe, the Fireside Chat. Your boy Jackie C.
And Shade.
It's been a shady episode, and we hope you have a shady night.